So, Joe, it's been about 75 years. Do you remember how we used to open up Best Boys? And I swear to God, if you yell into the microphone, I'm going to kick you in the crotch.
That's a tough one. I think I remember there was a lot of yelling, but maybe instead we could just pantomime. Would that be good for a podcast?
Yeah, okay, here, let's...
Okay.
Joe, why are you doing the Nazi thing? Joe, why are you marching? Joe, why are you marching around the room acting like a Nazi?
No, I'm touching myself.
Oh, hey. I remember how we used to do it, Joe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we used to do it by saying, hey, welcome to Best Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the yelling. Or more like weird little pig boy noises.
Absolutely not. No, I'm not some kind of pig boy. I am like a cowboy, like a sacred cow.
You say you're like a cowboy?
Yeah, like a cool cowboy, like in Brokeback Mountain. That's a movie I love.
Yeah, like Blazing Saddles.
No, not that one. I don't like that one. There's not enough gay sex in that one.
That one's too racist now. Have you seen that on
That
HBO?
one's too straight. Yeah, they had to add a little warning.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Joe, for those who have not been hearing him recently, have been missing his sultry tones. Joe has been doing the Man with No Brain podcast.
Yeah, I'm over there. I am with co-host Dry Matthew Ziegler as he attempts to just kind of probe around in my brain like some kind of visitor from outer space. Just
yeah, like you're a cow. You're a cow space boy, and then he's the alien that like pulls you up into the ship, and they put like
just
the
reaching into my butt.
Yeah, they take the cake batter mixer with the whisk, you know, that you can turn it with a crank.
I saw that. He just pokes like a big needle into my eyeball, and then he sticks 3 long fingers up my butt, my bottom.
And anyway, that's how Joe got started in the podcasting business.
No, that's not true. But no, the Man with No Brain, it's very funny. We do like a cool topic each week. We do all kinds of different stuff. I mean, we do like kind of like a back and forth like storytelling podcast over there.
Yeah, I was on there for an episode. Very interesting stuff. Very cool.
Yeah, and then I'm also on Malevolent Movies, which is a video format where you can actually see my bulging cheeks and my rosy red smile.
You shoot at dimples.
Yeah, I'm like a cherub.
Ooh, speaking of dimples and little cherubs, so the movie that we saw recently was The Exorcist.
Yeah, extremely famous. This is probably the most famous horror film ever made.
Really?
I would say so, yeah.
See, I actually have in my notes here that the most famous horror movie in my mind is
what, Psycho maybe, or
Friday the 13th?
Oh,
I think that's the horror movie that when I ask someone to think of a horror movie, they think of that. And this, I guess, is contemporary audiences. They think of that or they think of Halloween.
Well, that's big in the slasher thing. Like, Friday the 13th is the thing that started, like, the spawn of slashers in, like, the very early 1980s into, like, the mid-1980s. But that was a very, very short period of horror.
It stuck around, though, for your average dumb, stupid Midwest American. That's what they think of when they think of horror. In my experience, at least.
Yeah. Because, like, the slasher, basically, you can argue where it starts, like, all day long. Some people say it starts at Psycho, which I think is mostly wrong. That doesn't really have any aspects of, like, the modern slasher. Some people say it starts at Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I don't really see that. I mean, it's got very minor slasher elements, but it plays out much more like an art film than a slasher.
That's something we need to watch, too.
Texas Chainsaw is very, very good. I love Texas Chainsaw.
It's a series. Is the rest of the series any good?
Second one is done by the same director, Tobe Hooper, and he knew he couldn't outdo his first one, so he just made it a satire of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, that's kind of
fun. I like that one. It's funny. Nothing else past that.
Kind of like Gremlins, how Gremlins did its sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, he just got like a giant badge and made fun of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the slasher starts at 74's Black Christmas, and that's actually not an American movie. That is a Canadian movie.
Ooh, never trust a Canuck.
That's what I say. But that's actually the same director of I Shoot Your Eye Out, Christmas Story.
Oh, really?
He invented the slasher, yeah. But yeah, no, in terms of like most famous horror movie, I mean, Friday the 13th is big as like a proponent of slashers, but slashers aren't really around anymore. They came back slightly in 1996 whenever Scream happened, and then the meta slasher happened again, so there was like I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Cherry Falls, Valentine, bunch of that, but that's died out mostly completely. And the slasher as we know it is dead, except for like the ultra low budget indies.
Mm-hmm. So The Exorcist, very famous, based off a book of the same name?
Yes, it was based on a book by William Blatty.
Was he involved with the movie at all? Do you know?
Yeah, minorly. He did have some qualms after it finished wrapping and like into the editing bay. Like the director William Friedkin removed some stuff that he thought was like essential for the movie. So they had like a falling out and they didn't talk to each other for years.
Okay.
But now they're chums again. And actually, that's the reason why the version you haven't seen came out. Is that, like, William Blatty basically begged the director, hey, could you please go back into the archives and put this stuff back in and see what you think?
And that was the version you haven't seen was the version
we saw.
That we saw. God, that is as confusing as when they made the new 3DS.
Oh, so you could go to GameStop. The new 3DS XL. Can I please have a used new 3DS big one?
Can I get a used new 3DS XL? Oh,
but God. The 2D. I want the 2DS.
Yeah, I want a new... I want a used new 3DS 2DS XL, please.
I just want whatever model where I can see Luigi's ass cheeks in Paper Mario.
That's how it is on this bitch of an Earth.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's like someone like one of those websites you can make custom blankets, and it's Luigi and he's fucking ripped, holding like 2 dumbbells with a huge dick.
Oh, okay.
And he's just looking. That's how it is on this bitch of an Earth.
I just want to see a version of Luigi's Mansion where he's like sucking off the ghost with the vacuum.
No, it's just him just like spreading his butt.
Yeah.
Anyway, fucking...
No. This is essential for the Exorcist podcast.
Yeah, this is true. 7.5 minutes in, for those who don't know the plot of The Exorcist, a young girl is afflicted and possessed by a demon from the Middle East. And they try to fix her. It gets real spooky, and it's like 3 hours long.
No, it actually hits like 2. It's slower paced. Movies in the 1970s were much more slower paced than people now are accustomed to. So
that's actually something I had written down here. So I saw Ghostbusters in theaters recently, and we should say that we actually saw this at a theater.
Yeah, we went to go see this at a theater. That was fun.
Yeah, coronavirus has fucked over everything. So theaters are like, wait, we don't have any garbage trash movies.
Oh yeah, it's 4 months in and they have nothing to show, so they're just bringing back movies from the 1980s.
Which is great.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, now would you say that there was just as much schlocky trash in the 80s and 90s as there is now? But like, so when I think of the 90s, the 70s through the 90s, I think, oh man, there's so many great movies. But is it just because it like rose to the top?
Not exactly. Back in the 70s through the 90s, good movies are still being funded in Hollywood, which is no longer the case.
Mm-hmm.
Now the good movies are being funded through independent studios for a couple $1 million a piece, and that's how we get the good stuff. But that's basically gone from modern cinema.
Yeah, but it's been really fun to see that in the coronavirus. Going to see movies during a pandemic. Fuck them.
Oh yeah. Because it's like the Exorcist. that is a Warner Brothers funded film.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. So that's a big studio picture. That's the kind of risk they were willing to take back in the day, which is no longer the case.
And now let's just remake The Exorcist. Let's remake a property. We have to make...
It's a TV show now.
We have to put... How?
It is. Yeah.
Is it like with multiple seasons or like okay, it's American television, so there's at least 4 seasons.
Yeah, I think there's like 2 or 3 seasons. I think it might be dead. I don't think it did great, but I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. I just know it got made into a TV show fairly recently.
But yeah, The Exorcist, it was I joked about it being super long, but it takes a good 25 minutes until you see the first inkling of a spooker. A spook, specter, spirit, or ghost. And I think that was just because we watched the special edition where they put in like CGI like frames of the face randomly in the movie before it showed up.
So those subliminals are in the.
Those aren't subliminal. Those are there for.
No, I know they aren't. Yeah, some of them are in the original cut. Some of them aren't. Some of the particularly glaring looking ones are only in the version you haven't seen.
Yeah, I was watching it now. Like looked over to Joe. I'm like, why are they showing the face already?
Yeah,
like
the scary YouTube game face.
Yeah. I recognized it from that. Jingle Bells game. Played backwards in the maze game.
Yeah,
and the car going down the hill.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was one of those like There's another one of those internet faces that was used a lot where it's like some girl, but she's got like a meat face or something. It looks like a dog.
Oh,
I don't know.
Smile Dog or something?
Yeah, Smile Dog.
Yeah. That was a creepypasta. That's very recent. In terms of the internet.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, the creepypasta fad was like in the mid-2010s.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this movie started off in Iraq. It was desert and sand for a really, really long time.
And they had to make like a little deal to get to film there. They had to teach Iraqi filmmakers how to make fake blood in order to film there.
Really?
Yeah, because the U.S. didn't really have great relations with them at the time, so...
Because this would have been...
73.
This would have been around... Now, I might sound like a fucking moron here. Was this around Desert Storm?
I think Desert Storm was the 80s.
Yeah, something like that. The first time we went through there and just fucked them up, and then set the stage for 9/11 to happen.
Yeah. We probably like took like a big rope on like a helicopter, like we were playing Just Cause 3 and kept toppling over their statues to get civilization points.
Yeah. So he uncovers something. He breaks the head off a thing, and he's like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, and actually, that's not intended by the filmmakers.
He just actually broke it?
No. It's not intended by the filmmakers for you to think that he released this demon.
Really?
So, because
my interpretation of the events was they were excavating this site, and then he had that green glass thing that had the face of like a demon on it.
Yeah.
And then it broke, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Well, that was just dirt coming off it.
Oh, I thought he like accidentally snapped the head off it.
Well, because like what it is basically that priest had done an exorcism in Africa like 12 years before this, because they say that he's got experience.
And it took him months and months to do it.
Yeah. So like, and basically he's just seeing signs in Iraq that basically he's going to have to face this again. He's like seeing all this weird shit around him, like blind people and like the carriage and shit.
When he was like staring, they had that scene where he was looking at the demon with the snake cock.
Yes.
And they were staring each other down.
Yeah, because that's actually Pazuzu, his name is.
Really?
Yeah, they use that. Basically, it's like the enemy of another demon that like tries to kill infants. So this was actually, it's a strange case where you would wear a demon like Pazuzu, like a little necklace around if you're like a pregnant woman or a child, and it would ward off the spirit that would try to kill it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I imagine... Now, this was my biggest problem I had with the film was... And this might just be because I'm so used to more modern movies where things that happen or take place within, like, one small sphere. So, it wasn't until the halfway point in the movie that I realized... I thought, for a long time, okay, the old man that was at the dig site, I think that's the little girl's grandfather. Her mother is, like, an actress... She's separated from the dad who's over in Europe or something.
Yeah, he just fucked off.
And then there's like a stepdad, and then, well, not a stepdad, like a guy that she's dating. That's the movie guy.
Yeah.
And then there's Harris, and I was like, okay, is Harris her brother? And I was like, what is... And then it turns out, no, pretty much no one's connected at all.
No one really is.
What that makes me wonder is like, okay, was this them sticking really closely to the book and not realizing that with a book, like, I mean, you omit things in a book. You can't one-to-one translate a book to a movie.
Yeah, I mean, the Exorcist audio book is 10 hours.
Yeah, so, like, I'm wondering if in the book, the tone and all that is established to let you know more early on that, like, okay, here's the deal, what's going on with this guy. Completely, now let's go, pick you up, drop you over here in Boston or Philly.
I think it's New York.
I don't think it's New York.
I don't know.
It's Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
So probably Boston.
I don't know states. I don't know a map at all.
But in a movie, like, I was expecting them all to be contained under the same story, but they're very much like the old man is there for the intro, and then he fucks off until the last 40 minutes, and then they bring him back in.
Yeah.
They mention him once or twice throughout the movie, but never by name or anything like that. And then Harris, he was just... she just saw him?
I mean, they were basically in the same, like, social sphere. He's a priest at the church where the mother, who is an actress, is filming as a lead in, like, this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so they basically minorly knew of each other, which gave her an in to go talk with him about, like, can you see my daughter?
Okay.
I mean, because he's a church psychologist as well, so, I mean, they would recommend him to her probably anyway.
Yeah. And he was also just built like fucking Rocky.
Yeah. He's thick. Yeah, he loves running. He loves punching things. And he basically let his mother die, so he's conflicted about that.
Yep. And the demon, that's where the famous line from the demon, your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Yeah, and then on TV they dubbed that to your mother still rots in hell.
So there was a line where she called someone a faggot. Do you remember what it was?
No, I can't remember that.
She just yelled, because I started laughing at theater, because I think she just, shut up, you faggot! And I was like, whoa, holy shit!
No, I can't remember what the line is, but...
the demon we'll
that's one mouthy demon.
Yeah, she's got a filthy mouth.
Let me tell you, you should put some soap in that demon's mouth.
So, there's a little jingle, a little theme to The Exorcist that only happens, like, once, I think, in the entire movie, and it's just when someone's walking down the street.
Yeah, I mean, that's the opening theme, kind of. And they play it again at the end, but...
Yeah, but, like, I'd heard that before.
Yeah, it's very iconic.
Yeah, and then I just never knew what it came from.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually of a lot of The Exorcist. Like, this is parodied so hard in modern pop culture.
That's probably how most of my exposure to this has come through other,
the Simpsons girl, episodes and...
Yeah, the girl possessed by a demon in a bed. I just know that that's a thing because The Exorcist, yeah. But yeah, so the plot of the movie, basically, the demon's still out there, I guess. Now, was there a reason... So one of the lines in the movie as to why this little girl was possessed, the old man said, it wants someone... It was either the old man or someone else said, like, this demon just wants to cause, like, the worst suffering it can. That's why I was so confused when the guy wasn't the grandfather, because I'm like, okay, I feel like the demon would target the guy who tried to exorcise him and be like, all right, fucker, and then try to make his life worse. But he just chose this random little girl.
Well, I mean, because basically, whenever this was filmed, I mean, exorcisms were not a thing. I mean, it was something that was in Catholic doctrine and only Catholic. It was a fringe thing. So, I mean, it would be very realistic that if they were going to have to do an exorcism, like, the guy who would do it would be, like, someone who did it way back in the day, and he'd be old now, and... So, I mean, the demon probably knew, if I can make an exorcism happen, it'll be this guy.
Okay.
In all likelihood.
And I mean, part of the spookiness of it might also just be, why is it my child? Because I mean, I picked up on this pretty early on. The spookiness of the movie isn't, here's a demon and it's throwing, like, if this movie was made now, the demon instead of the little girl would have been spitting fire and throwing rocks out windows and, like, breaking bones on camera and shit and being a big spooky demon.
Yeah, there would be a thing where she would just, like, unhinge her jaw and, like, an arm would come out, like, with demon nails.
But the scariest part of this movie, besides that time she crawled back... Okay, I'm going to divert here.
Yeah.
The movie blew its spooky load when she crawled backwards down the stairs with her mouth full of blood.
Yeah, that's not in the original cut. That was wisely deleted from the theatrical cut.
Because I was like, that's the spookiest part. And then it just goes back downhill to her being stuck in a bed. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that should have happened near the end. Like, she should have broken out of the bed, and then she did that, because that's pretty spooky. Like, the effect was awesome. I was like, that's sick.
Yeah, I mean, and how that was done is it was like a, how do you call them? Like, trapeze people? Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, just somebody who's really flexible, and she had wires, like, connected
to make it
her
more
stomach.
unnatural.
To make it so that she actually could do that. So she's being suspended in the air, and her fingers are just barely touching the floor. But they had no way to remove the wires back then. So, I mean, the wires are just visible.
They are? I didn't even notice.
No, they digitally deleted them in, like, the 99 cut. But there would have been no way to get rid of them in the theatrical cut anyway.
Yeah,
but it basically...
Hold on. Let me finish my thing, because I keep getting diverted.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, the scariest part is basically, there's no reason for this to happen to my child. I didn't do anything wrong. She didn't do anything wrong.
There's something... She played with a Luigi.
What was the name she gave him?
Captain Howdy.
Captain Howdy, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the scariest part of The Exorcist is that there's something wrong with my child, and I can't help them. You go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, here, take a bunch of Ritalin.
Oh, God, how I love my Ritalin.
Which I thought that was pretty fucking, like, wow, that's pretty topical. That the doctor's like, yeah, don't even bother psychiatry. Here's some pills, fuck them.
Well, that's how you work.
So... You go down the list. You go physical, medical. Can I fix my child? This isn't working. You go psychiatric. This isn't working. And then out of desperation, you go spiritual. And then, you don't know what's wrong with your child. your child is doing these horrible, horrible things, stabbing herself in the vagina with a cross, then forcing her fucking face into it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That scene is wild, Joe.
Well, and also with that scene, they yank back the mother with, like, a harness. And basically, they yanked her back way too hard, and it, like, cracked her spine. Oh. She's permanently, spinally injured from that.
Yeah, from being forced to eat her 12-year-old daughter's fucking bloody vagina.
Yeah, her box. A box is a much nicer way to call that.
So let's talk more about Reagan, the child. So Reagan is a relatively normal child. She gets possessed, and then she just, it's like over 1 or 2 scenes, and then she becomes the big spooky, like bloated, fucking fucked up face. So Joe, tell me about that. Was that her? Was that the child acting underneath the mask?
Yeah, it's mostly Linda Blair. So with the makeup, basically originally, it's a guy named, let me see.
Now, is this a dwarf man?
No.
Okay. Because I noticed in a lot of the shots that it would cut off at the bed or the sheet. So I'm like, I think someone's just laying there for some of these shots, like acting as her or whatever.
Yeah, what this is, it's...
It was very rare to see a full body shot.
Yeah. Because the makeup artist was named, it's Dick Smith. He's a pretty famous makeup artist. Yeah. And originally he was going for like more of a witch look, which was just completely axed. The director didn't like that. So instead they did almost like a self-mutilation look on the face where it looks like she gouged into her cheeks.
Oh yeah, with the claw marks.
Yeah. And it's more of like a rotted look.
Yeah, it's very spooky to see the rotted corpse-like face because it's all bloated, like she was like found in a creek or something.
Yeah. So like a lady named Eileen Dietz was Reagan's stunt double, and she's the one who's used in the subliminal flashes. That's who the white face belongs to, because that's not Reagan. It's mostly all Linda Blair, except for some of the shots where like you just see her back. A lot of that's Eileen Dietz, because you didn't actually need Linda Blair.
Yeah.
Because she was like 12 on the set, so like you basically had to film her scenes and get her out right away, because there's a lot of like child labor laws.
Yeah, you can't have a child on set for... I think for babies it's like 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
and then you get them the fuck out.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is for normal children.
I would say it's probably around 8 to 10 hours. Like a normal film set day lasts for about 16, 18.
Yeah.
And then she's also used for a couple of the shots of vomiting, a little bit of the cross masturbation, but most of it's Linda.
A little bit of cross masturbation.
Yeah. And then the shot with the Pazuzu statue where she's like outstretched like Christ.
Yeah, that one's real. I really like that shot where it's got the fog underneath.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, probably like 75% of this movie, broad ass daylight.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is one of like the early like kind of proponents of like daylight horror that was in like The Wicker Man, and I mean very recently Midsummer. It being in daylight keeps it. So okay, if you're having this problem, so this, like I said, the main spookiness is that your child is in harm and you can't fix them. You don't know what's wrong. You don't know what you can do to fix them. If it's daylight, that keeps it more real. Now, if it was nighttime and you had like spooky fog and it was Halloween outside and she had pumpkins, you'd be... The tree reaches into her window with its long branches.
Yeah, like that takes you out of it. It keeps it solid and real by filming it not as if it was a horror movie, but if it was just a slice of your life in this house.
Yeah, and I mean, William Friedkin was like a huge proponent of kind of reality filming because he used to be a documentarian guy, so he wanted very natural reactions from people, which is why he kept multiple loaded guns on set and would sometimes fire them off near actors to get a reaction.
Just to get a reaction?
Oh,
just to see, did he even record it?
Or was it just some of it was recorded, some of it was to keep them on their toes.
Some of it was recorded and put in his study.
Yeah, my secret study.
Jesus.
But yeah, I think it was Harris, Damian Harris. There was like a scene where in order to get a reaction from him, he had like a shotgun about 2 inches away from his head and fired it off.
Jesus.
And then, Harris had to angrily berate him and tell him never to do that again.
Yeah, because you'll kill their sense of hearing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he was more concerned about it accidentally, like, going 2 inches into his head and then firing into his brain. They weren't too concerned about the hearing back then.
I mean, it is a shotgun. Those aren't known for going directly in a straight line.
It's a very accurate weapon. It's like a trebuchet.
Yeah.
It's like the trebuchet of guns.
Another thing I enjoyed about the movie, and I wish I would have written down the quote, but when she's at the film set, the mother, she goes up there and she delivers a line, And I feel like that line is probably important, and it's probably like a good like summary of the movie and all that kind of shit. I think it was some movie about like fighting the system or something.
Yeah, college protests.
Yeah, some kind of college protest movie. I should have looked that up before I came in here because it's actually been like 2 days since we saw the movie.
Yeah,
because I had to do a bunch of school shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can't remember it either.
So another scene that stuck out to me early on, actually, because it goes from like 0 to 5 to 120 when she's in the bed and she's just like, because she's not the demon yet. She doesn't have the demon face. She's still the little girl. And she's sitting up in bed and she just starts flipping up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, that was a accident as well. That also hurt her back.
That wasn't I assume she was like, I thought that was a mannequin.
No.
But
No, because you could see her face screaming, yeah.
Was she just have like her calves were like connected to a thing and it just fucking lifted her and smacked her up and down, up and down?
I mean, yeah, it's like a wire harness that like lifts up her side, but like a lacing came loose on it, so it was just fucking up her back the entire time.
Oh.
She's really screaming in pain there.
Like when Viggo Mortensen in Lord of the Rings in the second movie.
His toe.
Yeah, when Sam and Pippin are taken, or not Sam and Pippin. Sorry, it's Merry and Pippin. And kicks the helmet.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh my bloody toe! Go, go, curse upon the hobbits!"
No, he's not cursing the hobbits. He's gonna save them.
Yeah.
Well, he thinks they're dead, but then he's gonna save them, Joe.
Well, he's probably mad at them for running away. I could do Lord of the Rings.
Well, they weren't running away. They got kidnapped by the orcs, Joe.
Yeah, but he thinks like, "Oh, those goddamn hobbits, they're too cool for the quest now, and they ran away. We have to go get them back."
Yeah, Joe. Don't talk bad about the Lord of the Rings next to me, Joe. I'll fucking snap you.
That's fine. I'm just doing fan fiction. I'm doing extended universe fan fiction.
Yeah,
Aren't I allowed to have an author voice?
Lord of the Rings, my immortal.
Yeah. And then Merry kissed Pippin deeply.
No.
Why are they brothers?
No, that's wrong, Joe.
Is it?
That's wrong.
Yeah.
You're incorrect.
I want second breakfast in your ass.
Shut off.
Yeah.
Fuck. I had something else I was going to say, Joe. Now you've just pushed it out of my mind.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, The Exorcist is very slow. It's good. I had a lot of fun watching the movie. I haven't had this much fun watching a horror movie since the original Halloween.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I guess Alien, if you count Alien, because Alien was really, really fun to watch, too.
Yeah, Alien's good. Yeah, I mean, and both of those are kind of slashers. Alien's a slasher set in space, and Halloween's just like the proto-slasher.
Yeah, Alien's a slasher where the alien looks scarier if you take him out of context with no sound, no music, and no good lighting. And just a guy in the suit moving.
Yeah, did I show you that?
Fucking terrifying.
Well, did I show you the...
like the test footage?
Yeah, the test footage. Yeah, that's really bad.
It was scary, dude.
Yeah.
It's just... Ooh, it's weird.
Yeah, he looks very wobbly, though, that poor actor.
Yeah, I mean, it probably was very heavy.
Oh, yeah, that's 85 pounds of silicone, I bet.
So
it's a glass head in Alien, it's glass.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
that whole thing's made of
It
glass
must have been easier
for the
to
most
shape.
part.
Must have been easier to shape than having the plastic. Must have looked better, reflection.
Well, especially, like, you put slime on it, and the scene where it's very wet, in particular, it's glass.
No, I believe, yeah. Having it be plastic wouldn't have that cool look to it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, The Exorcist, Joe. Was there a little bit of a controversy or like an uproar about this movie when it came out, or was there some people who appropriated it in a weird way?
Well, here I'll tell you this. This is believed to be one of the most cursed films in existence.
More cursed than The Ring?
Oh yeah. Well, The Ring is about a cursed film. It's not a cursed film. Because this one, Poltergeist is like another famous cursed film, The Omen.
What about Poultrygeist?
No, that's not cursed. That was just bad. That was just badly made. That's not
What about
cursed.
Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD?
No, that's just boring. That's just boring and bad.
I should have had him sign my Toxic Avenger. I had him sign Kabuki Man. That's fucking stupid of me.
Kabuki Man is famously the worst, of the actual trauma-produced films they ever made.
Maybe that was a smart idea then, because who the fuck is going to have Kabuki Man signed?
Other fat nerds who like trauma.
Yeah, I know, but they're not going to get that one. They're going to get the Toxic Avenger.
Lloyd Kaufman will sign anything you thrust at him for $5. His signature's not particularly valuable.
Okay. I didn't have to pay for mine. He just did it.
No, yeah. Lloyd Kaufman's very cool at conventions. I got Combat Shock signed. I thought that looked like a pretty cool movie.
Yeah, if you guys ever find me or Joe at a convention and if you show something to me, I'll sign boobs. I'll sign
I'll sign your crotch.
I'll sign your copy of Pokemon Ruby, and I'll write Tad, and then I'll take it and I'll say, this is mine. It's got my name on it. My mom said you can't have it.
Yeah. This belongs to me. I'll sign your trade paperback of Crossed Family Values.
I got in trouble once at the YMCA day camp because me and my little brother traded 2 Yu-Gi-Oh decks for Pokemon Blue, and it was a fair trade. There was like shiny holographic cards in there, but his mom came back inside the YMCA and forced us to give it back.
Mom takey backsies.
Yeah, that bitch.
Yeah, that fat sow. So basically, 9 people involved with this production died.
Well, I mean, everyone involved in the production of a movie from the set from like the
most of them are
died.
dead, and most of it's just in smoking. But the character of Burke Dennings.
Oh, well, I almost forgot to mention this about smoking. Yeah. Everyone in the movie, like, there's in the doctor's office, and he just like offers her a cigarette.
Yeah. Everybody loved smoking back in the day. It was so cool.
Yeah, okay, so that's all. I'm done interrupting for now.
Okay, so, like, basically the actor who played Burke Dennings, he died 1 week after his character did from a influenza-based flu.
And that's the old man?
That is the director.
Oh, okay, the guy that had, like, the big nose.
Yeah. And then Father Karras's mother died shortly after as well, a couple weeks after she filmed. Linda Blair's grandfather died, like, right around Exorcist. He wasn't involved in the film. Yeah, it's still cursed. It's still cursed.
What? What?
The man who refrigerated the set, he died during
refrigerated. They couldn't just call him an HVAC guy.
Well, with this, basically, they had 4 air conditioners running in that room all the time to make their breath frosty. It was about like, it was like a 10-degree set, and everybody had to wear big giant coats like they were in the thing, except for Linda Blair, who could only wear like her pajamas like for the scene, and sometimes a blanket.
Oh my god.
Yeah, to this day, she doesn't like the cold.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, filming. Yeah.
Give that lady some hot pockets.
Yeah. Oh no, like those.
Hot pads. Those. Yeah. That's.
I use those on set.
I didn't mean like put her hands inside her hot pocket.
in turkey cheese.
Yeah.
No, filming back then was not fun for actors. I mean,
filming now isn't fun.
No, not particularly. 16-hour days, a lot of standing around.
Just stop shouting at my microphone.
Okay. So also...
You can look at the waveforms. You can see every single time I'm talking and then every time Joe talks because his just goes... Whoa.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited about The Exorcist. Okay, so the janitor who took care of the building was shot and killed.
Okay.
And then the assistant cameraman's wife lost a baby. She may have misplaced it. I don't know.
Okay, so you know what, Joe? I'm just going to say this about this cursed movie. You could be like, oh, you know what? I have a cursed podcast because one of the listeners from this place, their uncle's ex-wife's child miscarried. And it's like, if you add enough divisions, you'll be fine. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
I'm willing to bet just as many, if not more, people died from Alvin and the Chipmunks 2 Chipwreck.
Yeah, just blowing their brains out whenever they saw that they were in Alvin and the Chipmunks 2.
At the point when they were singing My Sharona in their high-pitched
just shotgun suicide.
It just triggered like someone's
Russian Soviet programming, and then they took a shotgun and blew 3 actors' brains out and then themselves.
Yep.
In New York, one of the carpenters accidentally cut off his thumb.
Okay.
And one of the lighting technicians lost a toe.
How? Was it from when he kicked the helmet for the Hobbits?
Yeah, it might have been that, yeah. So basically the set ended up burning down originally, and they had to put the film on hold. No cause was found, but believed to be bad electric circuits.
Okay.
So during that hospital scene, basically One Time Freakin' he was like trolling around hospitals looking for cool stuff to film, and he found this procedure. It's... whatever the procedure is, whenever she's getting that tube up the neck.
Oh God, yeah, the hospital scenes in this. They're
the most terrifying thing in the movie.
Holy shit! It reminded me of. Did you ever play Dead Space, Joe?
Yeah, I like Dead Space.
Yeah, the part with Dead Space where you had to put the thing in your eye.
Yeah, the needle. Moms hate Dead Space 2. Do not let your mom play Dead Space 2.
It was a good advertising campaign.
I love it when advertising just said, your mom hates it whenever you masturbate into a sock, so buy our cool tube socks, bro.
Yeah, fucking, oh my god, I think it was the second time that she went in, and the thing was just spinning and whipping above her head. Oh, that's spooky.
Yeah, and I mean, that could partially just be why she was acting out. She had to get tested all day.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they attribute it to, partially, in the movie. It reminded me of, and I've never seen this movie. I've only seen the scene from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I think, where he's on the.
You're thinking of Firewatch or Close Encounters is like
Fires
a family
in the
movie.
Sky?
Yeah, Fires in the Sky is what you're thinking.
Yeah, where he goes up there and the aliens just fuck his shit up.
Oh yeah. They just jam a needle in his eye. They put goo all over him. Yep.
Horrifying, yeah.
Yeah. So basically,
some child watching that movie probably got a boner and was just fucking ruined for life.
Yeah.
Now he commissions.
I want to be an alien. I want to put goo on people.
Now he commissions various artists for the worst fetish of all. He makes them draw white women getting Wonder Bread, chopping down trees.
You know, I always thought a lady on the train track was sexually arousing.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah. You're
gonna be like Corey Coleman from Double Toasted, who just in the middle of court. I don't know why he did this. Double Toasted is another. They do like movie stuff. They used to be Spill.com. He did like animated reviews.
Okay.
Look up the Spill.com
Yeah.
story of the Twilight. I think it's just called like Twilight Dad or something. It's a good video.
Okay.
But he just made a video where he's like, yeah, when I was a kid, I was sexually attracted to Bugs Bunny. It's like, okay, I mean,
I want him to put on a dress and kiss me.
I don't know why you had to bring that up. It's like
it's very important to the podcast.
It's like that Onion tweet where it's like Miyamoto confirms Waluigi is circumcised. It's like, okay, I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know why you had to tell me that, but all right, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how I lied and said that I was done interrupting?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You can go on.
So basically, he was trolling around the hospital looking for scary medical procedures, and he came across this one. So basically, in order to film, he basically just said, "Hey, listen, actual doctors and nurses here, can we just film you doing a mock procedure for this film?" And they said, "Yeah, sure." Now, one of those, basically, the guy in the background with a beard. Did you notice him at all? He's got like a little.
No.
He's in one shot of the movie. That is actually a very famous serial killer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so his name is Paul Bateson. He got caught whenever he killed a film critic. And he confessed to killing 6 other gay men and dismembering their bodies. He was like the very famous like plastic bag killer.
Ooh.
That case still remains unsolved to this day, even after he confessed, because the police didn't particularly want to deal with gay people.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically the director of The Exorcist ended up making the movie Cruising later on after he got caught, which is based on those plastic bag murders.
Oh, now that's... Okay, now that is a crazy coinky dink.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and then at the Rome premiere, so basically a 400-year-old cross was struck by lightning at a church next to the theater. They were showing it at.
Okay, that's fucking rad.
Yep. Hundreds of people ended up fainting and vomiting during the theatrical run. They had to be rushed out.
Oh, pussies.
Yeah, and it was mostly actually during that medical scene. That's what people mostly had a problem with.
I mean, I can understand that. That made me the most uncomfortable out of the entire... Because, like, when she was puking on him, it's like, oh, yeah, it looks like Nickelodeon Gak. Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
You know, I'm looking at it like, oh, that practical effect must have been... I want to be the guy making the goop. I want to make the green puke.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know, just all that practical effects is fun. But then the medical procedure is, like, the most real. Because it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what'll happen if you accidentally hit your head on something. You're going to be in this room getting a neck stabbed with something.
Yes, that was...
It can happen to anyone.
I believe it.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, there were massive protests against this film. Linda Blair, the 12-year-old, ended up getting so many death threats that Warner Brothers had to hire security to protect her for 6 months.
Why did she get... Well, she got...
She's Satan. She's Satan child.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, she's the devil.
But she got cured at the end of the movie.
She touched herself with a cross. She's the devil.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, we need to kill her. We need to execute her and behead her in a church. So basically, The Exorcist accidentally ended up being basically the movement that revitalized like evangelicalism in the United States.
Neon evangelicalism.
Yeah, the coolest kind.
Yeah, Shinji. Come on, Shinji gotta excise this demon or Ray's gonna die.
Yeah. I mean, before The Exorcist came out, like, the demon wasn't even thought of as being, like, a real entity that affects things in your real life.
Not for a very long time.
Well, yeah, it was in, like, in the 1600s, but, I mean, in 1970, no one thought of it like that. And exorcisms were a thing, but it was something that was performed once every 20 years in, like, a remote village somewhere. But yeah, this one changed everything immediately after this movie. There were hordes of people demanding to be exorcised of the demons that were inside of them. They were screaming and clawing at each other and vomiting on the walls. And I mean, this movie kind of almost destroyed America in terms of like the conservatism movement that directly followed this. I mean, you could probably attribute some of that to The Exorcist.
There were people that took this exorcism as gospel. Yeah, gospel.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is... I don't remember which podcast it was. It might have been last podcast on the left. I don't remember. Someone was talking about how his family was evangelicals and that they would show him this movie in Sunday school.
Oh, yeah.
And treat it as if this is a real exorcism. And they would show like that scene and stuff.
Yeah.
I would have loved that because it's like, oh, this is sick.
I had a good old time in Sunday school whenever I got to see Jesus crucified. That was a fun film. What do you mean?
Oh, Passion of the Christ?
It wasn't Passion. That was too early, but it was like a made-for-TV Passion.
Oh. Was it just because you were looking at it like, oh, that would have been fun to film? Or were you just getting a boner because you saw the naked man on the cross?
No, I wasn't getting a boner. But no, it's some cool violence. It's more violent than you get on church on Sunday cartoons or whatever.
That is very true.
Yeah.
It was a lot of violence.
Yeah, it's like watching Happy Tree Friends and getting a religious experience.
You know what's Christian movies genuinely fucking fantastic? Prince of Egypt.
Oh, okay. I know
DreamWorks.
of that. Yeah, I know of that in terms of animated, but yeah.
I always remember that movie because at the very start, they say, like, you know, this is a religious story, but we believe that whether you are religious or not, this is an important story that should be told. And then they go into the movie, and I always thought that was really cool. Yep. It's just a story of the plagues and stuff like that.
My
like,
favorite.
Let my people go, release us from slavery, and then he doesn't. Plagues hit, parts the Red Sea, leaves his brother.
Yeah, my favorite religious DreamWorks movie is The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Emperor's
I remember that.
Pretty pog.
Yeah, he got turned into a donkey.
No, it was a llama.
No, but in the book of Job, he got turned into a donkey for kicking his wife.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah, I bet so. I said that. That's why it's true.
Oh, the book, not the book of Job, but the book of Joe
B. Yeah,
okay.
Joe B. yeah, and the Lord smited this man for eating too much nacho cheese and not saving enough for his parishioners.
You know how they had to put blood over the doorway to get for Passover? It's that, but your tongue has to be blue from the slush.
Yeah, just too much slush on the door.
Joe, stick out your tongue. Okay, is your tongue a little bit blue?
I don't believe so. That's just from the lack of blood. That's just on the lack of oxygen.
It's got too many other places to go before it reaches my brain.
Yeah, exactly. So this actually was based on a true exorcism. If you take your fingers and you do this a bunch of times with them.
Yep, doing that.
Yeah. So the boy's name was Ronald Doe. They never released his real name, which makes it harder to actually verify if this was accurate or not.
Like John Doe, they just call him Ronald Doe.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, people say that marks appeared scratched into his chest. One of them, curiously enough, which just said no school.
Okay, yeah, this demon Joe?
Pretty rad.
Pretty fucking cool. He's doing a sick kickflip, doing a birdhouse, and playing. He just stays home he does what I do. I pretended to be sick so I could stay home and play Paper Mario on the N64. This is like bad. This is a rad dude.
Yeah.
He drinks Ecto Cooler, High C.
Oh,
he's slamming pogs.
And then objects would be thrown near him, and nobody could verify it came from him. That he actually threw them.
From him.
Near him, at the very least. Teacups and such.
Okay.
And then also, at one point, he attacked a priest with a bed box spring whenever he was being exorcised.
No one would ever attack a priest, especially if a priest is locked in a room with a small child and no witnesses. Why would that child ever react violently?
Well, I'm not making a joke here, but early on, whenever they were like trying to look for signs from this...
Are you gonna say, I'm not making a joke here, but he gave that priest wood?
No, I'm not making a joke here, but the priest actually had the boy spend the night over alone so he could verify if he was possessed.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so this boy just was in a priest's house for a night alone.
I don't like this, Joe.
Yeah. So basically, the only facts that are verifiable is that an exorcism probably happened to a schizophrenic boy.
Yeah, a schizophrenic boy, he was getting fucking touched by a priest.
Yeah, and he kept slashing people with box springs.
Yeah, because he was like, I don't like this, Joe.
Yeah. So that's what the book The Exorcist is based on. They found this case and wrote about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any last tidbits for The Exorcist, Joe, that you want to share?
Oh, are we about an hour? Or,
We're about average. I mean, I've talked about everything I really wanted to talk about. So
yeah. The actress who did most of the possessed voice, which is Mercedes McCambridge, she swallowed a bunch of raw eggs and then chain smoked cigarettes, and then she drank whiskey as a recovering alcoholic. So she had just been sober for a long time and drank whiskey.
What did drinking whiskey have to do with the voice?
It fucks up your chords. It makes it more raspy.
Oh, at one point, the demon turned British for a minute. And I thought that was the funniest thing ever, because it was like out of nowhere. She just came British.
It's a mix of like Linda and Mercedes. But yeah.
Here's a quick question too. The head spinning scene.
Oh yeah.
How did they do it? Was it just I assume it wasn't the little girl's head.
No, they didn't twist her head around a bunch. No, that's a robot with like basically they had movable eyes in the back. You would lift up her hair and you would get to poke around in their innards. It's a robot head.
Oh, and then they just like...
Yeah, you're able to move the eyes and like open up the mouth, and then they put some fog effect inside the mouth, so she would be breathing as well as the other ones, which is why it looks real.
Okay.
And then you just spin the head, and the hair covers up the slit in the neck.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other really fun practical effects. I pointed out to Joe at one point in the upstairs room, when you go up the stairs and then turn to Linda's bedroom, or not Linda's, Reagan's bedroom, it's the same shot as the room in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
The hallway that goes up and then over to... Actually, you know what? I think it was the same room in the Laura Palmer house.
I mean, David Lynch definitely could have modeled that house after the Exorcist house. I mean, it's a very similar story of what happens to your children alone in their house.
Yeah, that's another thing that I was thinking about is so I noticed I'm like, okay, all these characters are so far and separated from each other, and I started thinking like, okay, I wonder if that's intentional that all these characters are separated, because like if you take a bunch of steps back, you're like, okay, the girl could be acting out because her dad's gone, you know, they don't have any connections, there's no family nearby. Harris is separated from his uncle and from his mom.
Yeah.
Then his mom dies, and then his uncle shows up and then fucks off.
Yeah, probably just like to claim like the pots that his mother left over.
Yeah. Character, I was a little bit confused as to what his point was the detective. Like,
yeah.
I guess he's like a logical eye on it all to like keep you grounded. Like, okay, because he wasn't privy to everything that was going on, and he adds stress because then the mom realizes, you know, her daughter killed the director guy.
Yes.
And it adds that element to it.
Well, it adds like a noir mystery element to it. I mean, noir was still pretty big in the 70s.
I wonder if that was just something from the book and they went, fuck it, we'll keep it in.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's very faithful to the book for the most part.
That could have been something that the guy was arguing for to keep closer to the book.
Yeah. So no, I was gonna say, Warner Brothers wanted to change the title of the film after they surveyed a group of people and none of them knew what an exorcism was.
Well, do you know what they...
No, I don't know what they suggested.
What do you think they would have named him? I think they would have named it The Very Spooky Little Girl.
The Scariest Demon in the Door.
God, you know what they probably would have called it? Hell Child.
Oh, yeah. Or like, and then the tagline would be, this demon girl's gonna make you wish you wore a condom.
And you thought your problems weren't going to happen until she turned 18.
Yeah.
And just make it, like, weirdly perverted because it's Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you thought your children are naughty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, after this, Linda Blair could never shake the image of, like, basically being the devil. She went on to do a lot of, like, women in prison films that were big in the 80s. It's, like, kind of a genre of, like, exploitation film with, like, heavy nudity and... just kind of, it's chicks in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And she also did Hell Night.
Kissing and stabbing each other.
Oh, yeah, they love doing that.
Oh, yeah. Woo.
She did Hell Night, which is a pretty famous 80s horror movie where, like, everybody gets locked in this house and, like, a bunch of spooky stuff happens. But that's
why don't you break a window and get out? That would have been another title for the for their version. Why didn't she break a window and get out?
Yeah. How come the mom didn't just go to Pittsburgh and leave the house?
Yeah, why didn't the mom just leave her child?
Yeah. There's Lucky Charms in the cupboard, honey. That's kind of been the tagline.
It's just marshmallows. I took all the cereal out.
Yeah. Yeah, I need the cereal because it makes my poopies nice. But you can have
Mommy
the
needs
marshmallows.
another sherry.
Yeah. But no, she did actually star in the 1990 parody of The Exorcist called Repossessed with Leslie Nielsen.
Oh. I've never heard of Repossessed.
It's not
Was
good.
there an exorcism? There probably was an exorcism joke in Scary Movie.
Oh, no, Scary Movie 2, like the back half of that movie is just parodying The Exorcist.
Was Scary Movie 2 the one where the guy had the tiny little hand?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's all I remember about that movie, is that he had the bird, and there's like, the bird is just screaming and shitting, and it's hitting the wall.
I think I may have saw a little bit of it on TV. I think I saw the TV cut of Scary Movie 2.
I remember liking Scary Movie, but I was also a dumb idiot child, so what do I know?
Yeah. I remember one time in Scary Movie 3, Leslie Nielsen says, "How do you aliens say goodbye?" And they kick him in the balls. And that was funny, I bet.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, how do you say hello? And then they just, like, pull his finger, and then he farts, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I mean, nowadays, Linda Blair, she rescues dogs. That's pretty much what she's been doing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like rescuing dogs.
Yeah, you don't even have a dog.
I have 3 sweet kitties.
No, you don't. One of them is
Yeah,
in...
one of them's gone.
Yeah, so you only have 2 kitties.
I have 2 sweet kitties.
Unless you want my cat. He's a big fat baby.
No, I don't want your cat.
He's a big fucking fat piece of shit.
No, my mother will not let me have another cat.
This one's orange.
Yeah, I know. He's sweet. Yeah, he's nice looking. I can't have him.
Don't say my cat's nice looking.
Oh, yeah.
What are your last tidbits on The Exorcist?
Let me see. Oh, originally it was going to be a limited release. They were not going to push this out in the widescreen. Yeah, but basically the lines got so bad at these theaters that people had to buy tickets for 2 showings ahead of when they wanted to watch it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, all right.
Yeah, I guess we have to show it now. And then the older priest was actually only 44 years old whenever they filmed this.
Man, they made him look old.
Yeah. They put 3 hours of latex applied to him every single day before he had to shoot.
They couldn't just find
the actor.
They couldn't just find an older actor?
No, I guess they wanted him. But yeah, more makeup was applied to him than Reagan.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I just kind of assumed that what Reagan was wearing was like a mask, and then they had someone else underneath. Because I'm like, because the girl is probably only like maybe 14 at the oldest, right?
Yeah. That sounds about accurate.
You know, so fuck. I mean, yeah, I guess she did a good job.
Yeah, she's very good.
You had to suffer. You had to flail in bed and hurt yourself.
Yeah, they were just firing guns off next to her. Well, no, actually, William Friedkin had to warn her every time he was going to fire a gun because she couldn't flinch because she's the devil. So, like, he would just like go up and whisper, "Okay, I'm going to fire a shotgun next to this actor. Just get ready for it. And then he would just do it.
That's spooky.
Yeah, no, William Friedkin wasn't like a nice director to work with.
What else did he make? Did he make anything notable?
He did The French Connection and Cruising.
I don't know either of those movies.
Yeah. Oh, and then also, so basically a week after this debuted, Warner Brothers called up William Friedkin and asked, "Hey, we'd really like to make a sequel," and he just said hell no and hung up.
Nice, I like this guy.
Yeah, but I think about 5 to 10 years later, they made The Exorcist 2 The Heretic.
I think I've heard of this.
Yeah, that one is one of the most infamous, like, bad movies ever made.
Is it just like it repossesses another? It's just the exact same movie but worse in every way?
No, that's Exorcist 3. This one's just batshit crazy. Also, because like they really messed with it in the editing stage. This one like involves like flying locusts and like Linda Blair comes back for some reason, and I've never seen it. It's just very weird. With The Exorcist 3, it's a movie directed by the author of The Exorcist, and it's based on a book he wrote called Legion. And originally, there was no exorcism in the entire movie. So they went back in and refilmed scenes and shoved them in the movie of an exorcism and released it like that.
They just added it in unconnected to anything?
Yes.
The title, The Exorcist, you really don't... It's titled The Exorcist. I wonder if the book focused more on the older man. Because the movie really doesn't.
Yeah,
it just kind of kept the book's title.
Yeah, he just comes in. Oh, it could be. I haven't read it myself. I've got to one of these days.
Because I feel like if the movie came first, it probably would have been called, like, The Haunting of Linda Blair or something, you know?
Yeah, something dumb.
It would have been something about her.
I mean, there's
as opposed to the... Or would have just been called Exorcism. instead of The Exorcist or something.
Well, because, I mean, just the poster itself, like, alludes mystery, because it's that very famous shot of the priest in that dark, almost alleyway with, like, the lamp right outside the home, you know?
Yeah.
That's what they used for the one sheet, and I mean, I bet that just made people want to go see it, because it's very mysterious.
It is very spooky.
Yeah.
It wasn't until from that point forward in the movie when it was all dark and spooky.
Yeah. And then they also made a prequel called The Exorcist Dominion, and then that tested so poorly that they went back and refilmed the entire movie, but using the exact same storyline. And then that one's just called the prequel to The Exorcist.
Good title.
Yeah. So they released, like, both of those on DVD, and nobody cared.
No one, yeah.
Yeah.
Why are studios so bad at making movies?
Just no thought at all put into it. Basically, originally you would hire a director to make a movie, and then that would either turn out good or bad. But now you just make a movie by committee, which will never turn out good.
The best you're gonna get is people go, oh
Something
yeah,
average, something watchable.
I kind of liked Step Up too, I guess.
I like it because this time his stepfather came into the picture.
Yeah.
And taught his children how to play basketball.
Well, it's like Mike.
Oh.
Why don't they make another Like Mike, but this time with Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
You don't actually
puppet his dead body.
Don't be like Mike. They already did puppet his dead body. Remember they had that Michael Jackson movie where they had like a deep fake Michael Jackson on stage, like dancing like CGI?
I saw something about that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just real fucked up. I think they use the same technology as Japanese pop star sensation Hatsune Miku, but with Michael Jackson. And it's like, oh, so we're reanimating dead pedophiles, huh?
Yeah. Well, as opposed to live pedophiles like Hatsune Miku.
I don't think Michael Jackson was a pedophile. I think he was a very, very confused man, but that does not excuse him for the things he did. He was fucking weird. If he was not Michael Jackson, he would have been put in jail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the parents...
If Michael Jackson would have been put in jail. Thanks for watching this episode about The Exorcist.
Yeah. Best place. No, I mean, the parents should have been put in jail just for giving their kids to Michael Jackson.
Yeah, they sold their kids to Michael Jackson. What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right, so Exorcist, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. I really was not aware of just how big this movie was. Yeah. I think because I was just numb to it because I've already seen it referenced so many times.
I mean, this is like one of the strongest cases for how like parody dilutes like the original source material, because like you can't not see The Exorcist and everything that's made fun of it. And I mean, you knew this story without even having seen the movie.
Yeah, it's like how Ghostbusters, I go in there and I hear them say things and it doesn't even register on my mind, but it's like, oh, that's where that came from.
Yeah.
That's where that phrase that people use all the time comes from.
Yeah, that's what, check please.
Yeah.
That's what, I'll have what she's having.
And by the way, I'm going to say this right now, at the very end of this Exorcist episode, there is probably a 50-50 split in Ghostbusters of lines Bill Murray says that land and lines that do not. And he just keeps going sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, Bill, could you stop? That's not very funny.
Well, yeah, and he did not want to return to be a Ghostbuster. He's been against the idea for 30 years.
Yeah. They had Ghostbusters 2, which I think Ghostbusters 2 was fine. I don't know if it was... I really don't remember it too much.
It's like very, very direct-to-DVD kind of sequel-y. Like, where they're pretty much almost copying the first one.
And then Ghostbusters 3 never got made, but
no, that got made as a video game.
Yeah, it was a good video game.
Yeah, it delisted from all the stores, can't buy it.
It's up now. It's remastered.
Oh, they re-upped it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so thanks for watching The Exorcist.
Hell yeah, baby.
It was a good... go watch Joe's podcast, The Man with No Brain.
Oh yeah, we got lots of good stuff on there.
And then Malevolent Movies.
Yes, yeah.
And then, it's been a bit. If you watched it way in the past, maybe you should watch it again. The Benevolent Buckley Show.
Yeah. And, I mean, so if you've watched the Benevolent Buckley Show and you're like, I don't want to do that, we have commentary episodes up for all 6 of the episodes if you want to listen to, like, kind of how it got made. And...
Wait, really?
Yeah, we do.
When did those go up?
6 months, a year ago.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you missed them.
Fuck.
You didn't hit that bell.
Oh, no, I didn't hit that. I didn't smash that like button.
Yeah.
I didn't hit that bell. I didn't follow the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, which Google Play is actually going to be removed soon, so that's going to be YouTube Music.
Yeah.
I didn't watch
how thoughtful of them.
On iTunes, I think I said Spotify already. Yeah. I didn't check the Patreon description. I didn't check the Discord in the description.
Yeah.
All those links, Joe?
They just were not checked, and that's why you lost out on some commentary.
Yeah, so I hope
if you don't want to be like Tad, make sure to do that for Man with No Brain. Let me tell you about all the good stuff.
Yeah, be better.
Be like a Joe. Be a Joe, not a Tad.
Okay.
As I like to say.
Goodbye.
Yeah.